Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the show tonight. Welcome. This is the United Stand. I'm not happy. I'm not a happy man. I've got lots to get into tonight. There's so much going on at this football club right now, and I've got that horrible vibe that's going on. But guys, this is your channel. This is your chance to get your say. Join the community. Get in the comment section and let me know what you think. If you're sat there thinking, Adam, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. Get in the comments. We all suffer together and we all cheer together. We're all happy together when things are going right, but not much is going right so far. The window is open. Timber's been talking. People are talking about Timber. Barcelona getting that war chest all of a sudden come from nowhere. They might not have to sell De Jong now. Is that one up and in danger? There's all sorts going on. But like I said, most importantly, guys, get your comments in that live comment section. We're going to bring up everything that is going on with this football club right now and a little bit more. So, first of all, why am I angry? Well, I'm just going to read out a couple of quotes from James Ducker from The Telegraph, first of all. And then you judge. You tell me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're thinking along the same lines as me. People have already DM'd me. People have already messaged me privately and said, I'm not liking the sound of things. First of all, this is the quote that's come from James Ducker and reported what is coming out of Manchester United right now. And this reads, unlocking the full potential of stagnating players is an area where MUFC actually feel they can have a lot to gain under Eric Ten Hag. That reads to me as, right, let's prepare yourselves for not a lot happening this summer because we have already got a lot of talent here. The one man who said there wasn't a lot of talent has been outed. That was Ralf Rangnick. Eric Ten Hag has come in now. All of a sudden, we're hearing all sorts of different noises. We're hearing all sorts of reports coming out that we're looking at a lot of players within this Manchester United squad that are already here. Well, that, like I said, reads to me as a red flag. Or could it be a red herring? Could it be reporters putting stuff out there that United have made or told to put out there just to cover up what is going on in the background? There's that much going on at the moment, and United seem to be involved in absolutely everything, whether it's Romano, whether it's any other journalist at the moment. The story's coming left, right, and centre. So we're going to dive into a few of them. We're going to dive into a few comments. But first of all, I do want to start with that. That, to me, basically, in terms of how United are putting it out now, how they're letting it leak out there, you judge for yourselves exactly what you think in terms of is it real or not. But I look at it and I go, looking to rejuvenate careers, rejuvenate United players that haven't been doing very well. Who is that? It's a whole squad. So you're going to rejuvenate the whole squad because every single player in this team, barring what, like we've said before, David De Gea and Cristiano Ronaldo, has been crap. So we're going to make every single one of them players better. That's what they're saying in this. Yeah, too many players on better. It's on your screen right there now. What we tweeted it out earlier on United Stand. Unlocking the potential of stagnating players is an area where Manchester United feel they have a lot to gain under Eric Ten Hag. Do you know what I mean? Whom they believe will give the right level of hands-on coaching, said players have been missing. Said players. The whole squad. Come on, everybody. Let's be honest with ourselves. Who really thinks that Eric Ten Hag can fix a whole squad single-handedly? Yeah, he's brought his Steve McLaren and Van der Gaag along with him, but no, that isn't going to work. That's not going to work. He's not going to be able to change players' careers who have been absolutely horrendous this season, and I mean horrendous, like the worst Manchester United team in Premier League history. You're going to throw that onto a new manager? Yeah, I'm sorry. That isn't going to happen with this football club. I'm telling you right now, I do not expect Jesse Lingard to come back and start pulling up trees. Paul Pogba and his new Amazon documentary, whatever that is, I can't remember how it's pronounced now. You're going to rejuvenate all of this? No, sorry. See you later. It sort of leads me into the next bit where they're actually talking, again, James Tucker from The Telegraph, that Eric Ten Hag has said that he wants a leaner squad. Eric Ten Hag wants a leaner squad. Well, for me, again, I look at that and I go, that's sort of the football club talking through Ten Hag. I don't see that. Erik Ten Hag, with the amount of games that we've got, is going to need an awful lot of players. Like I said, the first comment there, the first one I brought up on the screen and what I read out from the tweet that United Stand put out earlier on in terms of trying to resurrect careers at Manchester United, actually make players better again who have been awful, not just for this season. It's a case of, look, they can't be resurrected. They've already said they don't want to be at the club. It's not a case of actually making them play better. They don't want to be there. Let them go and then bring in players. That's what we're looking at. Bring in the players that Erik Ten Hag wants. Back the manager. Don't big him up through the media saying that he can make these players better. That's not going to work with this crop of players. It does not work for Manchester United. We've seen it before. We've seen our attitude on the pitch. We've seen how players have been off the pitch, not bothered. This has been the worst season ever. And to try and put that onto a manager and say, this is why we brought him in. Well, no, we've brought him in, obviously, to crack that whip. But let's be fair, he's not going to be able to salvage every single one of these players. And if there are a few loose cannons still in that dressing room who aren't playing or are still going to kick off, it doesn't matter who the manager is. You're not going to change a player. A leopard never changes its spots. And you know what? These players that have let this football club down this season are just going to be exactly the same the season coming. So if they're still kicking up a stink behind the scenes, it's going to be the same old. Because let's be fair, they weren't happy because they weren't playing. They thought they had a God-given right to be on that pitch. So that added to the fact that they're saying that Erik Ten Hag's looking at a leaner squad. I mean, are you happy that it's going to be a leaner squad? What does that mean? How can you have a leaner squad when you've got 5 substitutes next season every single game? You're going to need quality to bring on, because if we're going to catch up to them teams above us and the quality squads that they've got, and them 5 subs that they're going to be able to use game after game after game after game, we need to have the quality on the bench well to compete with that. I'm just going to get into a few of your super chats here now, actually, just to bear with me a second. Yeah, so I'm looking at here. First of all, where was it? That one. Nate H, that was the one I was looking for. Sorry, mate. I've said it for a while. Murto and Arnold think this squad is good enough as it is. I have zero trust in the decision making after with this club. I mean, honestly, I agree with that. They've bigged it up before, and these are the same people, let's not forget, who brought up the Jesse Lingard issue in January. Well, you clearly didn't want Jesse Lingard in his team, but the club came out and made a statement saying how good Jesse Lingard is. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. I'm just going to bring up a couple more super chats here now. Superboy say, hi Adam. What are your ideal 4 signings for 220 million? Well, we're going to get into the signings in a bit, mate. So I'll hold your super chat there for the side for now, because we have got some comments coming up from potential transfer targets and a few things to back them up. So we'll get into them in a second. But also in the super chats, I'm just going to bring Sean Turner's one up there. And this is it. Get your comments in, guys. Let me know how you feel about this, because this is how I'm feeling right now. And I can see it in the comment section coming through. Knew this would happen as soon as Ten Hag mentioned us coming second 2 years ago in empty stadiums. Very good point, one I made as well at the same time, Sean. And again, this week, the board's saying we won't pay the United premium. That's it. That's another thing that you can add to it. The United premium. Let's be fair. The signings that we've been making haven't been over the top prices recently, especially under Murto. Obviously, Sancho, you would say market value. Varane was a steal. Ronaldo, say no more. All good, yeah. Even Bruno at the price that he was in the January when he came in. We haven't been paying stupid amounts of money. I think the Harry Maguire days are long gone. And I think that left with Woodward, to be honest. But another super chat here. Just moving this one up. United in passing in the market as if we're on. Sorry, mate. I'll just read that blocked off. As if we won of that EPL and the Champions League last season. I mean, I'm looking at Liverpool. I'm looking at Manchester City already making moves in the transfer market, losing players that they don't need, looking to bring in players to replace them that can make that squad better. United still dragging their heels around. And like I said, we'll talk on the transfers and what some things have been said shortly. But Just below your super chats, we've got one more here from Dylan. This is a joke. The players have proven they ain't good enough. Mentally and ability, the toxic negativity spreads so quick and poisons new players. That's it. If these players are still hanging around, that was probably on point there in terms of what Dylan said. If these players are still hanging around, then what's to help these new players coming in? Because if we are looking for young up-and-coming talent, and let's not forget about the youth team that's actually coming through as well, which has got potential written all over it. Can you imagine that coming into that negative dressing room again with some of them players that are actually still there, still, like I said, kicking up an absolute royal stink with everything that's going on from last season? If these players are here this season and they act anything like what they did last season, that goes completely against what Ten Hag stands for and how he is and how he manages his teams. So this will ultimately show exactly what power Erik Ten Hag has got when these so-called issues arise. Because if, for one, just out of anything or any possible situation we've got going on, which is quite a few at this football club at the moment, say Harry Maguire walks onto that starting lineup next season, first game of the season, as captain of Manchester United, that will confirm to me that Erik Ten Hag hasn't got the power that we all know he needs to take this club forward. So it may seem a bit strong. You may see him being a bit over the top, but I do believe that if Harry Maguire is United's captain or even in the starting lineup come next season, that won't be a Ten Hag. That won't be a Ten Hag decision, in my opinion. It won't. I think Ten Hag will look at it and go, you need to be playing a certain way. And Harry Maguire does not fit what I've watched while Erik Ten Hag has been in charge of Ajax. If we're going to play like that style of football, then Harry Maguire doesn't fit in it for me. But maybe in time, he may change him. Harry Maguire may come back in the season. But right now, come the start of this season, I don't think, especially if United bring in a centre-back, Harry Maguire starts in this team. And if he does, that's not Erik Ten Hag's decision for me. And that will be the biggest worry out of everything. Desmond Shaw, still early days, can't expect things to change overnight. Yeah, we're just going off the noises and the sounds that are coming out. And guys, let me know, is this all just put out there? Is it just to fan people off what is actually happening behind the scenes? Because we all know that Manchester United need to act this summer and need to be up front and right up there straight away in terms of transfers and getting deals done. Because we know it, like we said, we spoke on many shows before, it is a short window and the summer will be over before we know it. The season will be upon us in the first week of August. The tour starts on the 12th of July. So within less than 2 weeks, well, we're less than a month away from the tour starting. Let's put it that way, near enough. So just over a month away from the tour starting. So you look into that, you go, wow, Manchester United getting all them deals done with just over a month. You tell me, are you confident that we can get that done? I don't think so. I do not think so. Remember, he has started way ahead of other managers. I know, but Desmond, the task at hand is ridding this squad of all the nightmare players that we've got as well, and trying to balance everything, deal with players that are coming back off loan as well. His job is massive compared to every other manager in the league, especially the ones up around that top four area with them settled squads. I mean, look what Kante managed in a short space of time. He's just signed Ivan Perisic today, and people will say, yeah, that's just an old player who's gone on a free. He's nothing to really worry about. But that's a player that fits in a manager's system that he knows he can trust. And he's a great squad player, even at that age, for nothing. Spurs are already strengthening and are in a lot better position than what we are. We are stagnating again at the moment. And yeah, things may. And I do expect things to actually move along quite quickly once they start. And let's be honest, once we get into June, now that all the football is officially finished, we can expect things to probably move forward, in my opinion. That's how I see it. That's what I think will happen. Whether or not we get the players that Ten Hag wants, that's a different story. That is a different story, because we're hearing, I'm going to get into a few transfer rumours now. Julian Timber has been talking and pretty much saying that he will make his mind up come the middle of June. Again, that seems to be the sort of area, because let's not forget, we have got internationals, so there could be a bit of a delay with all that, with players being on international duty and whatnot. It always does get in the way come the start of the window. And yeah, we may be overreacting and panicking, but my main issue is with what the club are letting come out in terms of what we're doing with the squad, how we're looking to try and resurrect certain players at this football club. No, for me, that is just a no. Julian Timber saying what he said doesn't really concern me that much. We were hearing this morning that there are good noises. The talks are ongoing between Manchester United and Ajax, and that he will make international duty pretty much, which he said was around about the middle of June. So nothing really to concern me there with Timber. I do think he's a player that the club would, and I think are easy in the best position to go and get, unless one of the big clubs comes in. But to be honest, with the people we know at Ajax, like Edwin van der Sar, obviously his former manager now being at Manchester United, the coach is there. It just looks like the easiest transfer ever. So I really am not concerned in terms of Julian Timber. I do think that we will bring him in. A couple of super chats here just before we move on to the next topic. What has the club done to earn fans' trust? Nothing. No, it's not. It's not, Nate, mate. It hasn't done anything at all. I'm just going to double check, see if there's any more in there. I think everything is covered pretty much. That's it. They're not doing anything at the moment to get the fans on side. And like I said, the other thing I'm angry about is the noises that the club are making rather than what's actually happening right now. Because I do understand, like I just said, I mean, you can see on the screen there, smoke screen, Sky Sports News. Let's not get into Sky Sports News. Mason Mount, come on now. Let's not be stupid, eh? I don't think there's any Manchester United fan that expects Mason Mount to be coming to Manchester United. That is just ludicrous. That's what you've got to deal with. That's what you've got to deal with. I mean, look at it this way, yeah? Mason Mount at Chelsea, loves that football club. We know the players that are leaving Chelsea this summer that are coming towards the end of their careers, and we're going to get into some of them as well, because the realistic target from Chelsea, reportedly, would be N'Golo Kante. I mean, me and Beth were talking about this on Sunday, and it's like, no, and no. For me, obviously, guys, let me know what you think. Is N'Golo Kante the right move for us? For me, I think within that there, I look at it and go, it's the same old problem, what we've been doing over the last few years. And we covered this, like I said, on Sunday. It keeps coming around. Why would Ten Hag want this player? It doesn't sound like an Eric Ten Hag signing at all. And yeah, he has taken older players, made them better, but there are better options out there that he can work with longer term. Saying that, he turned Daley Blind around, made him a player that won him the Eredivisie, played pretty much nearly every single game. N'Golo Kante's injury record is what concerns me more than anything. It has been a slow decline, and I do think that we're not going to get that many games out of him. Would it be a Matic part 2? Would it be a Matic part 2? That's what you've got to look at. The quotes there from Timber are on your screen now as well, guys. So they're there. That's what he said. He's happy to stay at Ajax. I think he's basically talking like a professional footballer would do, like his agent has told him to say. Pretty scripted. International duty usually brings these comments out by players. They don't want to give too much away, but behind the scenes, we all know that there's all sorts going on. And I do believe, like I said, I'm not concerned that nothing is happening right now in terms of players coming in. My concern would be, hopefully, when June comes, especially July 1st, when these contracts run out, I expect there to be an exodus of players. I really do. I think there will be, there'll be half a squad going, I think. It'll just be the case of the players we know, Pogba, Lingard, Cavani, Matic, Mata. You got to expect, and I'm going into all the loanee players that are coming back here as well. There's no way I'm having Andres Pereira, by the way, everyone. Even though his goal the other day has been flashed all over social media like like he's the next thing that's going to come in and start turning his career around at United again. No, that's not happening. I expect Henderson gone. I expect Phil Jones gone. I expect Eric Bailly gone. I expect who else was it that was thinking gone? Aaron Wan-Bissaka gone. So I mean, we've got a lot of players that should be leaving this football club. As soon as that July 1st time comes around, that date hits, I expect an exodus, and I expect United's wheels to be fully in motion in terms of the players that need to be out of this club, because that is a key, and it came up on the Super Chat before. The players coming in and the young players that we're sort of looking at to come into Manchester United will not need that negative atmosphere. We will want to be in a position where Ten Hag is happy, the players he's got in there are happy, and these new players coming in can be integrated as easy as possible. And that is with a full, coherent atmosphere around the football club, everyone singing from the same hymn sheet and going forward in the same direction. If there are one or two, that's all it will take, one or two, not on board with what Ten Hag is shouting and what he's putting out there to these players, then the problems all start again. And that is his biggest challenge. And yeah, he's got a lot to do in the back, but we know we can't get rid of everyone. But the players that are going to be left at Manchester United, and from what we this season, they need to change. They're the players that Ten Hag has got to get into, the ones that we could possibly get something out of still. Who that is, and who's going to come up and actually be that player that changes everything. I mean, it's embarrassing that it's taken Eric Ten Hag to come through the door for that to even happen. It's embarrassing as a professional footballer that it's taken you this long to actually realise that downing tools isn't the right thing to do just because you don't like the setup, you don't like the coaching methods of a certain manager or coach. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic as a professional. There's no self-pride there. And the amount of money that these players are on, just willing to down tools like they did. There's a few players out there, I'm going to say, for me, that need to really show something back to the United fans this season, the likes of Marcus Rashford. I think Bruno needs to up his game this season coming forward. I'm looking at the likes of Luke Shaw, players like that. These players were guaranteed first team players a season ago. Now I could give it a. It doesn't matter. And who'd have thought you'd have been saying that a year ago? So them players have to be the ones right there. There's like a core of players there that need to be at a different level next season. They need to get back to where they was. I do believe Ten Hag can actually get that out of them players. I think they're players there that can be resurrected as such, like we said at the start of this show. But let's be honest, they're going to have to do a lot. And if Ten Hag is true to his words, it's like that one chance saloon, like he's run his career off. If it doesn't happen and you're not willing to put that work in, like I said before, if them players aren't performing on the pitch and they come back in again, it just doesn't look like Ten Hag is going to have that power that we all hope he was going to get. And that's where it was a concern when we was talking on Sunday's show, the fact that Ten Hag, Ralph Rangnick was the man who was the one who outed these players. And now he's been outed by the club. Did he say too much? That's it. There was a chance there for restructure, and United fell at the first hurdle. They got scared. This was the best chance that this football club had to completely restructure the hierarchy from top to bottom. But it didn't. They went back to what they know best, the fail-safe. Let's not let everyone know what's happening inside this football club. Let's keep it on the low of what happens upstairs. That's what it's coming across as to me, and that's where the worry is about the comments that are coming out. But time will tell. Transfer window officially isn't properly open yet, but you'd expect a little bit more to be going on. International break does get in the way, like I said. Will we see big action like what Julian Timber said? You know what I mean? International break, middle of June, I think that's when it's really going to kick off. The rumours and everything going on, you're hoping it's United actually getting contracts sorted, getting deals done, clauses and everything like that. That's what we want to hear. Super chat on the screen there from Gaz UK. The Dutch squad has joined up. How much influence do you think Bitter Van Gaal will have on any of the players? I mean, Ten Hag, I think, said it all in his press conference when he was talking about what Louis van Gaal said in terms of the Manchester United job being a commercial club, not really looking on the football side of things. So he said in that comment when he was responding to a journalist in his first press conference, where he said, "Look, I take on board advice, I listen to people, but I have a line. I'll draw that line, and then I'll make my own decision." So I think Ten Hag and Julian Timber, knowing Ten Hag and knowing how he's won a league with him and what he does, I have no concern over anything that Louis van Gaal would say to these players. I don't think there'll be any influence at all there. I think Ten Hag holds all the cards with that. I think he is a powerful influence within the Dutch setup, and people know how he works. So no concern there with Louis van Gaal. One player again that's been brought up, James Ducker in the Telegraph was talking about it, was Jimmy Garner again. Obviously, me and Beth spoke about this the other day. Jimmy Garner will be closely assessed by Erik Ten Hag during pre-season. However, United are unlikely to bring him back next season if it means he'll be on the bench most of the time. So I think that leads into what we were saying, maybe another year on loan in the Premier League, again with Nottingham Forest, probably do garner the power of good. I do think the potential is there enough to see a player coming through, but that to me then says, look, if Jimmy Garner's going back out on loan, there has to be players coming in, because our midfield to lose that many in one summer transfer window, we have to bring players in to replace them. Yes, I know that Donny van der Beek is coming back to Manchester United. Whether that can be something that Ten Hag uses in his setup, I do not know. Hopefully, we can see the Donny van der Beek that was at Ajax that went to the semi-finals that year, and that great team. Another player involved in that, obviously, was the man himself that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks, Frenkie de Jong. Now, it's reported, like I said at the top of the show, that Barcelona themselves somehow have managed to work. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but somewhere in the region of $250 million of investment coming into Barcelona, which would mean they would be able to balance their books considerably, and there be no mad panic for Frenkie de Jong to leave Barcelona. Frenkie de Jong has actually come out and said he would prefer to stay at Barcelona. Barcelona with money. Frenkie de Jong saying he'd rather stay. Oh, that's another worry again, isn't it? I mean, if that is true and that does happen, we can wave bye-bye to that transfer, because Frenkie de Jong stated already he wants Champions League football. United are having to bend over backwards to get players through the door. Frenkie de Jong and what he said, and Barcelona, if this does happen for them, I mean, Erik Ten Hag is powerless. He's not getting any backing or support from Manchester United. It is all on him whether Frenkie de Jong comes to Manchester United, in my opinion. I do believe that he has to convince any player of his own project, and in that, a project in the Europa League to start with for a player like Frenkie de Jong, who's already at a club which is at the higher table. Would you want at your age to step down from that? Obviously, new era under Xavi at Barcelona. Obviously, he's still finding his feet there, but if investment does come in and Barcelona can spend again, Frenkie de Jong becomes a permanent fixture in that Barcelona squad, and that's bye-bye to Manchester United's hopes of signing Frenkie de Jong. So that war chest, wherever it's coming from or how they've managed to make that deal happen, Barcelona, is a big concern for United's hopes of signing a player like Frenkie de Jong. And again, just goes to show what United are having to do in terms of how we're getting players through the door. And I'm going like that, I'm looking through other players going, Nunes again, Frenkie de Jong. These are young players that want to be playing Champions League football. Young players that aren't really going to be drawn in by Manchester United anymore, just for the sake of who the club is and the history of the club. And that is the biggest concern for me in all of this. It's what Ten Hag has to do and how much work he's already got with the current squad. And like Alan Noonan says there, Andres Pereira has had plenty of chances. No way. Exactly, mate. Exactly. No to Andres Pereira. That's a definite no-go for me. I'm looking at it going Nunes, Frenkie de Jong. These are players that now have actually said, look, they'd rather go somewhere else or stay where they are. Is that the type of player that Manchester United need to be buying? Because they're the two players that have been put up there now that are going to cost us the most money this transfer window. If it's reported right that we're running on a budget, there is no, what's it called? United Premium, as Myrtle says. United aren't going to be taken to the cleaners transfer fee wise at all this transfer window. We're not going to pay over the odds. Them two players have stated that one would rather go play Champions League elsewhere and one would rather stay at the club he's at right now. Should that be the player that Manchester United go for? I understand what qualities them players have got, but we brought players in with similar qualities to this football club that really, it now looks like they just came because it was the payday. We've brought in just as good a player as these two, if not better, at this football club, and it has not worked. Do we need to start looking elsewhere? Do we need to bring players in that believe in Ten Hag and Manchester United, who want to play for this manager, who want to actually be part of the project? Now, we can be doing all this work behind the scenes, and yeah, that's great to listen to. United are close to this sale, and the player will come out, he's happy and all this. Yeah, you will be happy with $250,000 going in your bank account every single week, but are you fully committed to Manchester United? Are you fully committed to the project that Ten Hag is embarking on? Because if you're not, we're going to see a very similar situation to a lot of players that are falling by the wayside right now, that this club has made mistakes with so many times before. Now, who else would you bring in terms of them positions? That's when it gets a bit sticky, because United have already missed out on several targets because we just haven't been on the ball. And so-called scouts that are at this club, that were at this club that are not here anymore, weren't prepared to put. I won't be prepared to put their neck on the line. Basically, is what I'm saying in terms of shouting out a Camavinga who we could have had, a Boubacar Kamara who we could have had, who's gone to a mid-table Premier League team. So, bringing up the comment I just made regarding what United have to do to attract players to the football club. This is a player that was Marseille's best player this season in the French league. And he's gone to a mid-table team with no European football. Why weren't United in for that one? Where were our scouts when Kamara was going? Because he shone in that French league this season for Marseille. And I've listened to many reports and French specialist journalists talking about Kamara, and he has been a shining light within that Marseille team. Manchester United, nowhere. Beaten by Aston Villa. We're on a shoestring budget this season. There's a midfielder there that actually fits the bill of what we need, and we're nowhere near. Beaten by Aston Villa. It tells you everything in terms of what the priorities are at this football club and why, like I said at the start of the show, there is a red flag going around here for Manchester United fans and a worry of a very similar sort of trend to what we've seen before in other transfer windows. Alan Noonan there with a super chat says, getting very concerned about how much transfers we bring in, more worrying none. Players will come in. All I'm saying is, are they the right players coming into this football club? Frenkie de Jong has many talents that I would love to see at this football club, but if this man isn't fully convinced in coming, having been asked by Ten Hag, and has got reservations about actually why he's going to come to Manchester United. See you later. Don't want you. Bye. Simple. We had one of the best, so-called best, in Paul Pogba come to this football club. One all right season at the start, disappeared, wasn't willing. Dragged this club through contract extension, to negotiating a contract, to being offered the world in terms of wages, just to throw it back in our face. And yeah, I'm not saying that's Frenkie de Jong at all, but I question Manchester United's approach to any transfer if you're having to convince this player to come to Manchester United. If a transfer saga goes on, there's always a red flag. if it is about the player himself, which a lot of these transfers are, because we know Benfica will sell. We knew that Barcelona were going to sell, and that is a little bit different now if they do get that investment. But if it goes on for a long period of time, what's the negotiating? What are you negotiating about? If it's between you and the player, then we shouldn't be doing it, in my opinion. Doesn't want to come. Players who want to come to this football club, the deal should be wrapped up, done and dusted. We've seen it happen with every other single club in the Premier League except Manchester United. That is what happens every single summer. For some reason, we're all over the headlines from start of negotiations to the finish. It drags on all summer. And this is one so we can't afford to do that because we haven't got the time to do that. We haven't got the time. And for me, Núñez, if you're in and are in, there's other players. Yeah, he may be the hottest property in Europe right now, but or is he? Some people are actually looking at him going, is he that good? I mean, Manchester United right now are miles behind City, miles behind Liverpool and Chelsea. All three of them clubs notorious for getting deals done early. Look what Liverpool did. Look what Chelsea have done in the past. Look what City have already done. You know what I mean? Then players like Haaland are attracted to Manchester City because of the success. And this is where young players are looking at right now. Yeah, you still get a good wage at Manchester United, but what is that player ultimately going to United for if not the money? There's nothing there. There's nothing appealing to it. We're not going to be able to fish in them ponds. If anyone else is in for Núñez or indeed De Jong, why would he come to Manchester United? Why would he come to Manchester United? It would literally be because Ten Hag has pulled an absolute miracle out of his hat. Because if they've got any footballing prospects about them or wanting to prolong their career, it would be because they've been convinced by a quality manager, a good coach, Ten Hag, not Manchester United, not at all. And if Ten Hag is having to overly convince players, then maybe, like I said, he should take a step back as well from that because it's quite clear that that player isn't fully invested in Manchester United. Does that spin around then what I just said at the start of the show? Are there players that are at this football club that can be fixed, that can be like resurrected? Honestly, like I said, it's a tough one because for me, I've seen these players just completely let these fans down all season. Every game I've been to, I've seen it. And I did a sort of breakdown of my season on the games, especially the away games this season, of like the worst and the best. The best game of the season was the opening day for me at Leeds United. Then the worst game could have been one of over a dozen in a season. And that was down to these players. That was simply down to these players. James Jones in with a super chat. Cheers, mate. Ruben Neves, Prem proven and hungry, better than any central midfielder we have, and only 25. Carrick-esque. Well, Ruben Neves is that player. Like you said, young, hungry. He's at the right stage of his career now. Done enough at Wolves, but has never moved. He's sort of that player you look at and go, he's got everything you sort of look at United would need, but nothing. No one has actually gone for it. Why has he not moved anywhere? It's weird. It is weird that he's not moved anywhere. And I still believe that there is a player in Núñez. I've praised him, raved about him every time we've played Wolves. I've seen him up close and personal, and he is a good player, and I think he would fit Manchester United well. But honestly, I do think there is an issue somewhere with that, where he's not gone anywhere already. But would I take him at United over what we've got? Yes, I would. And that's an easy decision simply because we're that bad. But let's be fair. I do think that Neves would make this football team a lot better. And to be, we're looking at it and we're being serious. He's at the right age. There is Premier League proven there. He has got qualities. He's got work rate. I've seen it up close and personal. He's got quality on the ball. He can link the play. He's great in transition. Everything you would need. Don't know. Does Ten Hag need him? That's the key. That's what we've got to look at. And I think that's where everything is going to come down to it this summer. It's like, is it a Ten Hag player that's... is it a Ten Hag player? Does he fit in his system? Does it work for him? Does it actually fit the mould of what he's trying to do and the shape he's going to bring? Honestly, I look at a lot of United players right now, and I'm struggling to see how a lot of them fit into how Ten Hag wants to play. And my main concern for the start of the season is how quickly can these players adapt to what Ten Hag wants and how he wants to play. That's the biggest concern of all. And for me, there are certain players I just don't see being able to do it at all. And they're the players that are definitely going to still be at the club next season. Shows you the amount of work that Ten Hag has got to do. And the task at hand is just astronomical, absolutely astronomical. And that basically brings everything up that is an issue with Manchester United right now. It's the fact that the club are still trying to fix players that are there that have been letting us down for so many years. And that is years, because it has been a while now, 5 years without a trophy? So you could say everyone's been part of the problem. Ideally, we could do with getting rid of about 20 players out of this squad, but we know it's not going to happen. So is there enough within them players that are staying that we know aren't good enough to actually adapt to what Ten Hag wants to do? That is the big problem for me. And honestly, I don't see him being able to fix it in one season, which is why I've said all along that top 4 this season for Ten Hag would be an overachievement. It would be a massive overachievement, in my opinion. And I just don't see him having enough time this summer to hit the ground running. I hope I'm proved wrong. I really do. But the more I look at it and the players that we've got and what he's got to deal with, I just don't think that he's going to have the time to deal with that and sort of put everything in place. I think maybe come October, sort of November time, we may start seeing a bit of improvement. For God's sake, I think, and I would love for Manchester United to hit the ground running. I would. I just don't see it happening. I don't. I think it's going to take a big transitional period. And Ten Hag, like everyone has said, and like some of you guys have put up in the comments there, I do think that he is in the job early. He knows exactly what he's got to do. He's accepted that this is a massive job, which is a good sign. And hopefully he can get into these players early, bring them back off their holidays early, give them that sort of like, okay, I'm not going to give you the full-on kick up the arse that you really need, that every United fan wants you to get, but I'll give you a chance to actually prove to me that you've got what it takes. But here is your level. This is your point that you need to be at to play for me. Can you reach that? And let's see what he brings. Let's see what he brings. Jason Ketterer, cheers for the super chat, mate. I'm surprised United are not looking at any Americans. Pulisic unsettled at Chelsea. Let's see, Dest right back wants to leave Barcelona. Adams, central defensive midfielder, wants to leave Leipzig. So much talent in positions we need. Looking at the positions, and like I said, that's it. It's fair point what Jason makes there. We should be looking everywhere, all over the world, and that's what our scouts should be doing. I don't even know who our scouts are anymore after the 2 head scouts left earlier on this summer. I don't know who it is who's in charge of recruiting players in. It looks like Murtou's got a lot of power within the United setup right now, and I think that's where everything is going to be going through. But I mean, with United and transfer windows, and I said this was the summer where it was the perfect opportunity to change things and get a new structure in there, where we had someone who had an eye for talent. Maybe wasn't the best manager in Ralph Rangnick, who had an eye for talent, no, could spot talent a mile off, was a director of football and was his main job in previous that he was a massive success at. We had a chance to bring in someone else alongside him. He could have worked with Ten Hag. We could have got a Mitchell in there easily. But no, we didn't. We reverted to type and it stayed exactly how we have been over so many summers and so many seasons of failure. And that's what it has been. We're looking at, 5 years since the trophy? Going on 10 years since we won the Premier League. We were 13 points off top 4. Never mind the top 2. We were the second highest spenders in this division last season, and we finished 13 points off top 4. Never mind the top 2. That tells you everything you need to know about how far away we are. The scouting system needs to be better at Manchester United. The recruitment side of it had a great chance to reset and be put in the best position possible for this summer ahead. We've not done it. So now every United fan's looking at it going, right, okay, start to get worried again now. Not going to start pushing the panic button totally yet, like I said. Wait till after international duty's finished. I expect a lot of movement there then. But guys, get your comments in, get any questions in that you want before we finish up the show. Let me know. Gaal Kante, would you be pushing for the players like Nunez and De Jong, even though they said they're not completely convinced by Manchester United going forward? This is what we're dealing with. Let me know, guys, before we finish up the show. Leo J in with a super chat. Cheers, mate. If we don't get top 4, no chance of Bellingham next summer. I don't think Bellingham would come to Manchester United if we made top 4 next season anyway. I think he's perfectly earmarked for replacing someone like Henderson at Liverpool, or even slotting into that City midfield, mate. I'm not going to lie. I just think United are miles off. Even if United made top 4, we're then moving into a different sort of level of transfer targets, whereas Liverpool and City are still a level above us, even if we was in top 4. And that's the sorry state of affairs. That's what it is. Let me just see if there's anyone else coming in. De Jong is 100% needed, says C-Try in the comment section. United have something like 50 plus scouts on their books. How many successful young international players have they scouted over the last 9 years? It's a cushy meal ticket and they need to be outed. That's strong words. No Champions League. Nobody will be interested. I don't want to come the biggest club in the world. Yeah, that's it. Is Lingard leaving? Yeah, he's leaving. He has to be going, please. I hope they back Eric Ten Hag. Yeah, this is the problem. It's the backing, isn't it? It was the ultimate fear. It was all singing and dancing when he walked through the door. It looked great. He was doing all the right things, meeting everyone. But like I said at the top of this show, and I'll finish with that same comment, unlocking the potential of stagnating players is an area where Manchester United feel they have a lot to gain under Eric Ten Hag. That's what I started with my little mini rant at the top of the show. That's what was the big red flag for me as well. That was a key sign of this football club preparing Manchester United fans for a summer of what? Yeah, a little bit of activity. We will see players come in, that's definite, but it'll be nowhere near the amount of players that this football club needs. And why I said just then that top 4 would be a huge overachievement for Manchester United next season with what Eric Ten Hag is dealing with in his first year. Eric Ten Hag needs what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given. That's what he needs. He needs average of 130 million like Ole had every single summer. He was bought or brought in a player for every single position on the pitch. He was given a team. And that team was assembled for a stupid amount of money. That's what Eric Ten Hag needs. When now, if we give the tools that we gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United will compete again within 4 years. That's my prediction. That's where we'll be. I do believe that Eric Ten Hag is the right man and proven in what he's done at Ajax. I know it's a different league. I know that, but you've seen the talent that he's brought through the youth system. You've seen how he's adapted and changed players. And that goes back to what I just said then at the start, like Haller, Tadic, Daley Blind. He can make players better again. This is Manchester United, and you're competing with the 4 top elite managers of world football right now, with resources and squads that are 20 times better than the Eredivisie has ever seen. So if United are clinging on to the fact that he's turned them players into players again to win the Eredivisie, no disrespect to that division. It is a great league. It has got nothing on the Premier League and what the standard of football is here in England at all. And that's just facts. It is. It has the best players, the best teams, and the best managers. And there are 4 managers that are better than Ten Hag right now, ahead of him, with better squads, with better resources, owners, structure above them. So this is the task at hand for Eric Ten Hag. And if the club don't half back him, and by backing, I would say backing is full on like what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had. And I'll go back to it again. If you give Erik Ten Hag exactly what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had over 3 years, United will be competing for trophies. Yeah, in 3 years, it might not quite be the Premier League, but I guarantee we'll be up there in the cup competitions and comfortably in top 4. That's how I see it. We just gave everything to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he just didn't have the credentials to take us to that next level. He hit his ceiling, and that was enough. Give the same backing to another manager who's come in from the outside, who has got proven quality in terms of how his system works and how his players improve. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer improved nobody at Manchester United, in my opinion. Erik Ten Hag has already turned players that were forgotten into decent players again. Let's see if he can do it on the next stage. He will if you back him. I'm fully confident that if you back Erik Ten Hag, then he will get results for Manchester United. But it does come down to that. Guys, that is it for tonight's show. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Get your comments into this video when it goes up on YouTube. I want to know, who would you bring in, if anybody, for each position? Let me know. Do you feel like Erik Ten Hag, if he's given the backing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given, will actually succeed at Manchester United? Let me know what you think, everybody. Get your comments in below. Cheers for tuning in, as always. Like, share, and subscribe to the United Stand. We have got more updates coming through the week, obviously. Different shows coming up as well. We'll keep you up to date on all the transfers and all the interview shows as well here on the United Stand. It's been a great show, guys. Cheers for all your comments. You've been bang on point as usual. But for now, that is it. I will see you all through the week.